Great things don't happen all at once. Big dreams take time. And when it comes to saving for college, it's those small steps that make a difference. I'm State Treasurer Curtis Loftus. Future Scholar, South Carolina's 5-9 college savings plan, is designed to be taken step by step. You can start with any amount, contributions are tax deductible, and earnings grow tax-free. So why wait? Discover the smart, easy way to save for college at futurescholar.com.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblut and Chris Bergen. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on sportstalksc.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil and Chris with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Sports Talk here on the Sports Talk Media Network. This is a very special night. We call it the Night of Nights in South Carolina. It's sort of like the Met Gala in New York. Except we don't have all the real beautiful people. We have the great athletic people of South Carolina being honored tonight. And you know what? Jack Leggett is with us. And wouldn't you know it, who comes walking in behind you but Ray Tanner? Now, this is too convenient to have Ray Tanner and Jack Leggett together.
My wife Karen.
And Ray comes over to congratulate Coach Leggett, who's going into the Hall of Fame tonight. Of course, Ray's got his jacket on, and you'll have your jacket here pretty soon. We're going to jump right into things. It's the night of the induction ceremonies for the South Carolina Athletic Hall of Fame, and we're going to begin with Clemson former head coach but current assistant coach Jack Leggett. That's just weird.
That's weird. Well, it's not exactly an assistant coach role.
Yeah.
It's program development. So, you know, we can do NIL and we can have everybody transfer whenever they want to and all that kind of thing. But I can't hit a fungo.
Nothing.
but I can talk to the players, talk to the coaches, and that's my role and that's my value to the team. It's
weird inducting somebody who we talked about this earlier who's still working.
Right.
You're still working in your business, in your trade.
Still working. It's been a long time. I've been working for 42 or 3 years, I guess, now. But I just enjoy it. I love it. I love being around the players. I love being around the coaches. I love being around baseball. I love the competition, and to me, I'm just really glad to see Clemson baseball back where it belongs. I think it's irrelevant now. They've got a really good program. They've got the right leadership. Eric is a really good coach, and he's a great leader and really good on the mental side of things. Fundamentally, I think the kids are great. They're accountable. They're responsible for everything that they're doing great in the classroom. Also winning games, and I think that's what the Clemson fans are hungry for, and that's what they're looking for, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
Well, we got to talk about you because this night's about you, even though I know you want to share the glory, but congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, this is not your first rodeo when it comes to a Hall of Fame because you've been in multiple Hall of Fames, but what about being recognized here by the state of South Carolina?
Well, this is a really, really nice one, Phil. I've been fortunate to be in a few of them. I think 8 of them now. But at the same time, I really value this one because it's a direct reflection of the legacy and the program that we had and the success that we had at Clemson. And it's not just an individual award in my eyes. It's a team award. I've had a lot of great coaches that have been by my side. I've had a lot of great players by my side. Great administration at different times by my side who've helped me out. And the fans have been awesome. And so I look at it as a team award, something I accept tonight, but it's on behalf of a lot of people and my family and, my wife and my kids and, all the people that took a chance on me. Coach Wilhelm is really the one who's responsible for bringing me over to Clemson. And he saw something in me when I was at Western Carolina University. I worked his camps. We competed against him, and he invited me over and I think it was in the fall or summer of '91, and asked me to be an assistant coach, which I'd never been before. But he indicated to me that he was probably going to coach for a couple more years, and if he did a good job, some good things might happen. No guarantees.
Yeah.
And so worked out great, and I had a great career and spent a quarter of a century of my life at Clemson, and nothing but great memories.
22 seasons, 955 victories, average 43 per season, 21 NCAA tournament appearances, 6 College World Series berths.
Yeah, and 9 super regionals, which is tough to do.
Yeah.
And so, like I say, we had a lot of good players. We recruited a lot of really good guys, a lot of good players, and I had some really good and quality assistant coaches along the way, and a lot of support. And we had a great fan base, as I mentioned before, and I just felt like we had a really good culture. And my greatest accomplishment, though, above all of those things, is the fact that I think I have a really, really strong relationship, lasting relationship with all my players, assistant coaches, and good relationships against the coaches that I coached against. And to me, that's as important or more important than anything else.
What was the message year after year, player after player, that you like to share with your players? Was there a theme in your coaching style, or a teaching theme that you wanted your players to live with and walk away with?
Well, I would always want one of my players who has graduated now, or is father, might be 40, 50 years old, whatever they are. I would want them to say that I cared about them more than just as a baseball player, and that I worked as hard as I expected them to work hard, and I was as competitive as they were expected to be competitive. And I would want them to say that they learned the game of baseball from the inside out, the fundamentals of the game. And I would want them to say that they worked harder than anybody else that we played against. And when we played, that we played harder than anybody. And that would be the trademark that I would want these guys to have graduated with or left the program with. And I feel confident that that's happened. That's the feedback I get when I see them all. They all say, "Coach, remember when you told us this? This is what I'm telling my Little League team. This is what I'm telling my kids."
Yeah.
And so the lessons they learned, I think they're passing on to others, and that's really what coaching and teaching is all about.
Tell you what, I mean, fire burned in your belly day in, day out.
Right.
And, I mean, I used to love, when I got a chance to see you guys play, used to love your diving into your huddle before the game, before you hurt your neck, diving into your huddle, your players coming and rallying around you like that. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what the competition drove you, did it not?
It did, and I just had a passion for it. I still do. I had an enthusiasm every day I came to the baseball field. I think it rubbed off on our players. I've got players that come back, Monahan and those guys, they're 50 years old or 15 plus now. And they come back and they go, "Hey, I got friends at Florida State," and they said as soon as you dove back in that huddle, we knew we were cooked, and they're in the other dugout. They said, "Yeah, we used to watch the coach do that, and we knew then that we were in trouble." But it was this spontaneous thing. It's something I started at Western Carolina once in a while, and I slowed down after I broke my neck skiing a little bit, but then I brought it back a little bit. It came back.
Yeah.
And, it's just one of those things where I always felt like when I put on the baseball uniform that I was a little kid. And I wanted to show my players I had the passion and enthusiasm and energy, and was always going to give 100% effort for them. And I think they rallied behind it a little bit, and we had a good time with it.
Can this year's team make it to Omaha?
I think absolutely. I think, at this time of the year, everybody, the teams that end up in Omaha are the ones that get hot. And I've always said this. I said this to the team the other day, and we're talking to the coaches and so forth. And what happens in tournament time or this time of the year is someone maybe unexpected shows up and gets really hot offensively, or steps up and gives you 7 great quality start as a pitcher, or makes some big defensive plays, or does something that spurs the team on to something special. And it's got to take 2 or 3 players offensively to permeate the other group. It's got to take a couple guys to step up pitching-wise, whether it be Tristan Smith or Ethan Darden or somebody like that. Somebody's got to step up and get us into the 6th, 7th inning. And then we've got to have some relief pitching step up. But they're all capable. They're all trained properly by the coaches. They know what they have to do, and now it's just a matter of whether he's 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old, 22, 23. Sometimes kids now can figure out how to play their best baseball at the right time.
Well, congratulations, 7
Thank you, Phil.
Never seen you in a suit before. I was looking to see if number 7 was on your sleeves
Might
or
be
something.
Engraved in here somewhere.
You clean up real nice.
I appreciate it.
You clean up real nice.
Take a good look, because this is as good as I can look. This is the best I got. And it's tough to recognize me without a hat, probably. Without
there you go.
Hat.
Well, enjoy the night.
Thank you.
For you and all the others. And it's also, of course, a nod to the fact that you had a career well done here in South Carolina, so we congratulate you.
Thank you. I'm very proud to represent Clemson, but also represent the state of South Carolina. We had some unbelievable years where South Carolina and Clemson were at the top echelon of college baseball, and for a smaller state like this, with not as many people as Florida, California, Texas, Louisiana, whatever it is, we had some great moments, and I think the state was proud of how the teams were playing at that time. And you throw Coastal in there, and you throw some. We had good baseball all the way around, and I think everybody should be proud of what South Carolina baseball, South Carolina athletics brings to everybody. There's some unbelievable people in this inductees class.
Oh, yeah.
And I've listened to them speak, and it's an impressive group, and I'm just proud to be a part of it.
Thank you so much for stopping by. Enjoy the night.
Thank you. Appreciate what you're doing with college baseball
Yes,
and
sir.
athletics in the state. Thanks, Phil.
Jack Leggett, Clemson, going into the Hall of Fame tonight. We thank him for stopping by at our location. We're upstairs. Everybody's downstairs getting loosened up, I guess we could say. They're getting loosened up before dinner. Thank you, Coach. And we are next scheduled to have Tyler Thigpen with us, Chris, the former Coastal Carolina quarterback.
Very
and
cool. That'd be a
then,
nice conversation.
Yeah, and then our third guest tonight is scheduled to be Lucas Glover. No Gamecocks, because Marcus Lattimore was the only Gamecock in the class, and he did not make it. He's out in Portland. He had something going on in his career out there, and he couldn't make it. So that is what we've got lined up. Anthony Johnson, College of Charleston, the former star NBA player. He's going in. Ivory Latta from York High, McConnell's, is going in. Allison Feaster, the former star high school basketball player in our state, is going in. All right, little shuffle of the schedule. We have Lucas Glover. We're going to have back-to-back Tigers here, so that's quite all right. You're following behind Coach Leggett. So,
oh, dear.
Yeah.
That's big shoes to fill.
That is, but you know what? You got big shoes.
That's true. That's true. I think I can get 2 of his feet in one of mine. So. But
congratulations to you.
Well, thank you.
Well, first of all, thank you for being here.
Yeah.
I mean, you just played in the PGA yesterday.
Yeah. If possible, you make special arrangements to be at things like this when organization like this honors you. So Monday's usually a slow day and a travel day, and you make things like this work. So,
well, how does it feel? I mean, you're still playing. You're still an active PGA competitor with a chance to win tournaments week in and week out. But how does it feel to be going into a Hall of Fame at this stage in your career?
Yeah, it's I think any stage it's an honor. But while I'm still active, is I don't know if strange is the right word, but I never really thought it would happen until I was done, I guess would be the right way to say it.
Yeah.
So, but no, it's an honor, and I met some of the other inductees today because I missed out on some of the things yesterday, and just humbled by being in their class with them. We got some coaches that battled segregation, and then you got some young people like myself, but just very cool.
Yeah.
A wide range, covered all sports, and Shane Marcus sitting here. I was looking forward to meeting him. I don't know those circumstances, but he was like a Tom Brady. He's
doing out in Portland. He lives in Portland, Oregon.
Oh wow! Okay.
Unfortunately,
that's a long way
conflicted.
from here.
Yeah, and he couldn't make it. So, how do you summarize your golf career? Great career at Clemson.
Yeah.
Outstanding career on the PGA Tour. Have you exceeded what you thought when you took up this game as a youngster and started working on it and getting after it?
I don't know. I think everybody dreams big at a certain age, and everybody thinks they're going to be the next this or that. Mm-hmm. The reality is that nobody's the next anything. You're just you. So, but yeah, you dream big. You're going to win 50 tournaments.
Does it sound like we may have Phil back, Josh?
Yeah, I think we have Phil back. Let's try him now.
Phil, you with us?
I am. I apologize for that. I just noticed that the line had dropped, so I apologize for that. I don't know where we dropped. Can you tell me where we dropped?
Missed most of your conversation, unfortunately, with Lucas Glover. We were all disappointed.
And it was so good.
Oh, well,
I'm sure it was.
Well,
the
Phil and I
last thing
have
we
some
heard.
wonderful personal memories now.
Yeah, I tell you what, it was. I'll take it with me, and I'll write a book about it.
Yeah.
Well, we'll go back and revisit real quick. Lucas Glover is with us, the former Clemson golf star, still a standout on the PGA Tour, just coming off playing in the PGA this past weekend at Valhalla in Louisville. You were just about to talk about, though, your 2009 Open win and how that really separates you. Anybody that wins a major separates you from the rest of the field.
Yeah, a little bit. I think anytime you got that under your belt, they'll always announce you as that on the first tee or at an event such as this or something like that. So yeah, it's definitely a distinguishing factor when looking over a career. But it's that age-old question: would you have trade 20 wins for 5 in a major? Or it just depends who you are, depends how you look at it. I think Jay Haas had 9 wins and on the tour got the most cuts by a long shot in history, and he made more cuts than I've played. So that being said, would he trade it for mine? I don't know. I think it's just eye of the beholder type situation. But for me, the reflection will come when I'm actually done, because I feel like I've got some more. I feel like I've got some more time. I feel like I got some more good golf, and I think I showed that last summer.
I think you showed it this past weekend.
Yeah, I played nice.
Yeah.
For me, a big ballpark there, but 4 rounds and par or better in a major, I'll take. Obviously, I didn't go low enough. Played well 2 weeks before or 2 weeks ago at Quail, which is also a major type course, a big ballpark. So it's just one of those things. Putt goes in here or there, and you get a nice bounce, and it's 10th versus 25th. So I'm right there. I feel good about my game, and body's healthy, and at 44, that's about all you can ask for. Just keep doing what I'm doing.
Before we let you go,
yes, sir.
Just your thoughts about going into this Hall of Fame. I think we talked about it earlier, but you're still playing. You're an active athlete, but you're going into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I didn't think that was a thing. I didn't know that was possible.
Yeah.
And it's very cool. That I assumed that was a post-career thing, but to receive this honor while I'm still at it is very cool. And I think Stan Olenek during the media today, he mentioned that probably would have gotten in even if I never turned pro because of the amateur stuff. When I never realized that, and I never really thought about that.
Yeah.
And I think that may be why the timing was what it was. I don't know. I don't know their criteria. I am just honored and humbled to even be nominated, much less be in. But I look forward to tonight. They're only going to give me 4 minutes to talk up there, or I get the yellow flag.
Yeah,
I got a lot of thank yous to say, but I'm looking forward to it. And I've seen a lot of faces that went in before me, and to be in their company is very cool.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good luck moving forward the rest of the season, and thank you for coming over.
Thanks, Phil.
Appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
There you go, Lucas Glover. Sorry that we had a little bit of the interruption there, but we were able to get back to him, and we appreciate Lucas for coming over. And now let's welcome in what will be our third and final guest tonight, because they're getting ready to go into the hall here shortly to begin the walk of what do they call it? The walk of honoree walk, or
I'm not sure.
You'll be coming back for that once you get inducted.
Absolutely.
Here tonight. Tyler Thigpen.
Thank you, man.
Congratulations to you, sir. How's it feel to be going into the Hall of Fame?
I really don't think it's hit me yet, honestly. I mean, it just, seeing all these people that are here and whatnot, it's just, it's quite an honor to be able to, for one, be among the my fellow constituents going in this year, but also, to be along some of all the greats that have been inducted over the previous years. So it's, it's one of those things where I don't know if it really hit me until years to come when I'm coming back and seeing fellow guys or fellow athletes that are in the South Carolina Athletic Hall of Fame.
When you came out of Fairfield Central,
that's right,
and you go to a brand new program at Coastal, and I was there for your first game.
Yep.
And I just remember you guys having a little bit of trouble with the offense there in the early days.
Yeah.
Could you ever imagine becoming an NFL quarterback and then one day going into the Hall of Fame?
it's never even a thought that I ever thought. I mean, it took us 9 games my freshman year to throw a touchdown. So, I mean, you got guys now that are freshmen that are up for the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah.
But, what a journey it's been. I mean, it's been an absolute wonderful journey. Credit to all my coaches, my teammates, because without them, I mean, you're only an individual as far as a quarterback, but you can't do anything as long as if the offensive line doesn't block, or if the running back doesn't hit the right hole, or the receivers don't catch the ball. I mean, it's really a group effort all around, on all sides of the ball. And
you came in with David Bennett when the program just was getting off the ground. What's it like as you think back now to being one of those building blocks, to being that brick in the wall to start the program? That's one of those things where you look back, I think last year we were able to get back for, or 2023 or whatever, I guess, season, we were able to get back for the 20-year anniversary for the inaugural year. Mm-hmm. And just to get back and kind of see, for one, I've been back over the years, but to see where the program has gone from then till now, it's just quite an honor to be, a part of that I was part of the building block and the process that's, transpired over the years. They're getting ready to take you away from me, but got to ask you. He found me. Yeah. I've been dodging it. He was like, I'll come find you. And I'm like, good luck with that. You got to be amazed with where the program is today. Oh, man, it's just, where we started at. I remember the first game against Newberry. They were screwing the dang bolts into the bleachers as far as the seats, and then to see them, they just broke ground, I believe, on the indoor facility. They've got the end zone field house. It's just incredible to look back and think of all the memories you made with your teammates. Especially that first year of practicing an entire year before we even played the season. That's just absolutely incredible. But to look back, that's just part of the process as far as when you build a program. But to be the first quarterback that was part of it, that's just quite an honor. Well, we congratulate you. Have a great time tonight. I appreciate it. Enjoy the moment, and congratulations, and thanks for coming over. Phil, appreciate you. Great seeing you. Have a good one. All right, thank you, Tyler Thigpen, and we appreciate the Hall of Fame for getting the guys over to us. We only have a limited amount of time, and again, I apologize for that line dropping right in the middle of – because you missed the part where I was kind of helping – Lucas asked me to help him with his 7-iron, and I was giving him some advice. Yeah, trying to help him with the 7-iron. And then the line drops. So you didn't. How you can hit it 260 yards like Bryson DeChambeau does. By the way, Marcus Lattimore is missing the event because he's turned into a poet. Yes. And he is gearing up for the Blackberry Peach National Poet Slam in Oregon next month. He's a poet, and we didn't know it. He is a poet. We'll go over the entire class and the other honorees and give you more good stuff when we come back. Be back in a moment. It is Hall of Fame night here in downtown Columbia at the Convention Center. You heard from 3 of the Hall of Famers just a little while ago. Tyler Thigpen. Chris, you were there. Well, maybe you weren't. I guess you weren't there. Maybe a little bit before your time. I was there for the first game and covering that first season. And I'll just be frank, I wanted to be kind. They were awful on offense. Couldn't complete a forward pass. You heard him say it was 9 games in before they threw their first touchdown pass. How far they have come. Of course, he went on to have a 7-year NFL career. So had him and Lucas Glover as well and Jack Leggett. So we thank them for joining us. The other members of the enshrinement class, former Gamecock great Marcus Lattimore, as you know, could not make it because of a conflict with something he's involved with in the poetry world. Didn't know there were poetry competitions, but he's in it, so he couldn't make it. Ivory Latta, I met her today. I walked up to her, and she looks like she could still get on the court and do it. I walked up to her. I said, hey, I'm Phil Kornblut, and I said, have you ever met somebody from Latta, South Carolina? And she laughed. She said, Raymond Felton. I said, oh, that's right. I forgot. Y'all were Tar Heels together. I said, Raymond his dad was a classmate and a teammate of mine back in the day. So, and she always said that, people thought she was Ivory from Latta. They were confusing her with Raymond, But a very nice person. Anthony Johnson, the former star guard for the College of Charleston Cougars, going in. Allison Feaster, one of the all-time great women's basketball players in South Carolina, went to Harvard. is now a mover and shaker with the Boston Celtics in their front office. Ori Banks, 30-year plus as a athletic administrator, football head coach, including stops at South Carolina State and West Virginia State. He's another one who's going in tonight, and also going in to the Hall of Fame tonight. William Partlow, he was a great guy to listen to. A great guy to listen to, talking about the days of segregation in Columbia and in other areas of the country where he lived and coached, and fighting through that, learning from it. He coached at Booker T. Washington, where he won 6 state championships. And some of the folks that he mentioned that were on his team, like Kenny Washington, who went to UCLA, Landy Watson, who went to Oklahoma, Samuel Oglesby, who went to West Virginia. Remember Leon Benbow, went to Jacksonville. Roscoe Wilson, who he played for Coach Partlow at Benedict. Of course, that's Asia Wilson's dad. George Glimpf, Carl Williams, Sam Goodwin, and the list goes on and on. Very impressive. And then Clifford Ray. Those of us who have followed the NBA for a long time remember Clifford Ray back when basketball had centers, true centers, back to the basket guys. You know, he was one of those, fighting against Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Dave Cowens and all the big men of that era in Chicago and San Francisco. And he was very good to listen to today as well. He's from Union, from Sims High School in Union, and what a genuinely nice guy he came across as, just listening to him talk today. So those are the folks going into the Hall of Fame. And then you have your special awards, the Willie Jeffries Ambassador for Sports Award. That goes to Clyde Wren from the University of South Carolina. Everybody knows Clyde. The Bobby Richardson Sportsmanship Award goes to George Bennett from Clemson, longtime director of IPTAY. And you don't go to Clemson events and not see George Bennett, that's for sure. Herman Helms Excellence in Media Award, Debbie Antonelli, who has been one of those pioneers for women in sports broadcasting. And she does a great job, charity work and everything else. Yeah. The Felix Doc Blanchard Citizen for Sports Award goes to Otto German, who is from Charleston, and he played at Old Moultrie High School, and then was at the College of Charleston, and now 28 years in athletic compliance at his alma mater, the College of Charleston. He's also in the College of Charleston, the Hall of Fame. So there you go. Congratulations to all those wonderful people for careers well done. And we're just happy to know some of you, like to know all of you, but it's fun to know some of you, and hope they have a great night tonight. I'm sure that they will. So now we turn our attention to the rest of the day and the weekend. We'll get to your phone calls, 888-898-2525. That is the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number for you here on Sports Talk. And we got baseball tournaments now. Clemson's in great shape going into the ACC tournament. On Thursday, College of Charleston, the number 1 seed, regular season champ in the CAA tournament in Wilmington. So they still have to win their tournament, though, I would say, to get in, right? Still going to be a one-bid league?
Well, you know, I saw the D1 baseball projections today, Phil, and I think they have both they and UNC Wilmington in. So, you know, may not be a situation. I wouldn't leave it up to the committee, as we've mentioned numerous times. If you're Chad Holbrook, just going to win the thing. And then you don't have to worry about it. But it looks like there may be some leeway given towards that league. And if that's the case, I think that'd be great, because I think both those teams deserve an opportunity to play.
The Coastal Carolina team going down to play in the Sun Belt tournament. They've got to play tomorrow in a single elimination round game. South Carolina plays Alabama tomorrow in a single elimination round game for them. What a bad end to the regular season for the Gamecocks, losing 7 in a row. They are still 19 in the RPI, largely due to number 7 strength of schedule, but they're only 9-18 against Tier 1 teams. So when the committee looks at things, unless the Gamecocks win the tournament, when they kind of weigh the good, the bad, and the ugly, for the Gamecocks. Is there more good or is there more bad and ugly, you think?
Well, it's only a 6-game losing streak, but not 7. Now, if it gets to 7, it will be and hat tip to Alan Cole, who dug through all the history of Carolina baseball. If they get to a 7-game losing streak, it'll be the longest losing streak the program has had since John F. Kennedy was in the White House.
Oy.
You're talking 60 years since the last time a Gamecock baseball team lost 7 in a row. Phil, quite frankly, if they lose tomorrow, I don't think our poll question is, will they get in? They probably will. I don't think they deserve to get in, though. I mean, you look at – I don't understand RPI at all. I really don't, because they're being rewarded for playing really good teams. They're not being rewarded for beating good teams. They've been rewarded for playing really good teams, i.e. Georgia, Tennessee. That shouldn't be the way college athletics is. Yeah, go schedule all these teams. The South Carolina's had as good a schedule and as difficult a schedule as anybody in the country. But shouldn't you have to beat those teams? I mean, you shouldn't get rewarded just for playing them. If that's the case, College of Charleston and Winthrop and PC and everybody, just go schedule the entire the ACC and the SEC, because it doesn't matter. Just go play these teams. You should get rewarded. I don't quite get RPI. I really don't understand it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I agree with that. I think you got to win some games. You got to win some games.
Yeah.
Maybe I was already counting. I shouldn't have. Maybe I was already counting tomorrow in the loss column for the Gamecocks. But I'm sure it's like wipe the slate clean and come out with a new attitude, and get back to playing some of the good baseball you were playing when you beat Kentucky, when you beat Florida, when you beat Vanderbilt. I mean, it's not like they haven't had some good moments this season and beat some good teams. They are going to be, as far as their starting pitching goes tomorrow, they are going to be going with who did he end up naming?
Eskew.
I know he named Dylan Eskew. Okay, going to go with the young guy, Dylan
But
Eskew.
evidently, everybody's available. Is understandable, because you lose, you're done. This is not the double elimination portion, so they've got to win tomorrow to advance.
Yeah. Clemson, they're in good shape. They 40 wins already. In good shape no matter what happens, I think, in Charlotte, in really good shape to host a regional.
Oh, yeah.
They don't play until Thursday. They've got Miami and they've got Louisville in their pool. They beat each of those 2 out of 3 in their respective series. Again, though, you have to be concerned about Clemson pitching, because they're not exactly missing bats and shutting people out. They're scoring a lot of runs, and they're coming from behind, like, 23, 24, come from behind wins, something like that. But, again, that's playing with fire. And now you're in postseason play, and it won't hurt you this tournament because you're going to be fine. But then it gets to the real deal where you don't want to be falling behind people and getting eliminated in a home regional.
And Eric Mack had said after the weekend that he may move Aiden Kanak up in the rotation for both the ACC tournament and the NCAA tournament. I think that's extremely smart. Here's the guy that's all ACC as a freshman this year. He's their best pitcher. I think you maneuver him where he pitches maybe on a worst case, Friday's game. Don't they play Thursday, Friday? Let him pitch Friday's game, and then you have him ready to go game 1 of the regionals next week if you need to be. And then also you would have him set up to pitch game 1 of the Supers if they advance that far. Because I think he's the guy that should get the ball in their opening games of the NCAA tournament, freshman or not. He's pitched like a veteran, and he by far, he had 11 strikeouts, I think, against BC on Saturday, a career high for him. I mean, the guy's a stud. Give him an opportunity to shine in the postseason.
Let's hit these other tournaments before the break. Big South, how about a tip of the cap to Presbyterian?
Good to Elton Pollock, man. What a super job he has done. And now they do have to go win their tournament. It doesn't matter what they've done in the regular season.
And it's only a 4-team tournament. They'll play Charleston Southern on Thursday, and then High Point and Upstate will play in the other game first day there. And the Southern Conference tournament at Fluor Field in Greenville, we've got Wofford and the Citadel playing on Wednesday at 3 o'clock in the first game of the tournament, and that is an elimination game. The winner advances to play Western Carolina on Thursday. And we don't have anybody else in the Southern Conference playing baseball since we don't have a Furman baseball team, to our disappointment. So there you go. That's what the baseball tournaments involving state teams look like. We're going to hit the break and get back to your phone calls here in just a moment on Sports Talk. Phone number 888-898-2525. South Carolina Education Lottery, lucky number for you. Feel free to reach out to us. Let us hear from you tonight. We'll take a bunch of phone calls. We'll be wide open for your phone calls until Coach Jim Toman joins us at 7:30 for another edition of Just a Bit Outside. We'll be back in just a moment from here at the Convention Center.
Relax this summer with a promotional rate on select travel purchases with your Founders Federal Credit Union credit card. Now through August 31st, get 6.99% APR for 6 months on qualifying purchases, including airfare, hotels, restaurants, and cruise lines. Don't let interest rates slow you down this summer. Visit foundersfcu.com/travel to learn more. Not a Founders member yet? Founders has the financial tools you need and the personalized service you deserve. Stop by an office or visit foundersfcu.com to learn more about Founders and see if you qualify for membership. On March 1st, 2025, the promotional APR will revert to the effective APR as previously disclosed. Call 800-845-1644 for details about credit costs and terms. Membership qualification required.
Great things don't happen all at once. Big dreams take time. And when it comes to saving for college, it's those small steps that make a difference. I'm State Treasurer Curtis Loftus. Future Scholar, South Carolina's 5-9 college savings plan, is designed to be taken step by step. You can start with any amount, contributions are tax deductible, and earnings grow tax-free. So why wait? Discover the smart, easy way to save for college at futurescholar.com.
Stay tuned. More Sports Talk is coming up on the Sports Talk Media Network.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. That's the sound of a big hit on you and your car or truck. I've been an attorney for more than 30 years, helping people who get injured in car wrecks and truck wrecks. If you have serious injuries, call Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968, or email me at jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. That's Corbett. I don't get paid unless I recover for you. Jim Corbett Attorney, for your best recovery from a big hit, 803-765-2968, or jim@jimcorbettattorney.com.
You've put in the work for your education. The extra early, extra late, extra work. That's because you understand education opens doors to better pay, better opportunities, and a better you. Being educated about playing the lottery is no different. It helps you be a better player, one who knows when to play and when to take a rain check. The lottery's a game, so let's keep it fun. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Don't you cry no more.
Hey, you're getting ready for that summer vacation. You know, the motorcycle is cleared out of Myrtle Beach. I was down there this past weekend, and I went by your favorite place, Chris, Suck Bang Blow. And, I mean, it must have been motorcyclists by the thousands and highway patrolmen by the hundreds. But I think everybody, for the most part, was well-behaved and had a good time. But I'm telling you, that Myrtle's Inlet area was jam-packed with motorcyclists everywhere. But they're gone, and you can head down for a nice, quiet, comfortable weekend or week or longer. And to find yourself a great place to stay, make sure you call Jimmy Smith at James Smith Real Estate at 843-237-4246, pauliesvacationrentals.com. Let Jimmy put you in a great location, a great spot, at a great price for your budget and your needs. 843-237-4246, your perfect beach getaway. In fact, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if Jimmy's not here for a Clyde Wren. I think they're pretty close, so wouldn't be surprised if he's here, but maybe business is keeping him away. I don't know. I didn't go downstairs. They have a social hour where everybody is not going to say crammed into a tight area. There's just so many people that they're crammed into a tight area. Mm-hmm. And I didn't dare go down there this time trying to find people because I would have just been lost in the humanity of it all. So he might be here, he might not. Let's go to Gamecock Larry for our first call tonight. Let's keep it short. Let's keep it sweet. Gamecock Larry, welcome in. How are you?
Short and sweet. I think, I'm not sure, 3 weekend series wins for the Gamecocks this season. No, if we lose them more, we don't need to go anywhere. And as of now, I'm a PC man. I'm a blue hose. Pulling for the blue hose. Let's get this thing. If we lose tomorrow, it should be short and sweet when they get home tomorrow night or Tuesday morning or Wednesday morning. It should be short and sweet. We should not go anywhere. We shouldn't be waiting to see if we're going anywhere. Ray Tanner get the checkbook out, get ready to sign a buyout, put this coach on the way, put him on his way, short and sweet. Go Blue Hose. Talk to you later. Love all y'all.
Oh, I'm sure they're so tickled to death to have Gamecock Larry as a Blue Hose fan now.
No. It's now Blue Hose Larry.
Blue Hose Larry.
He's got to change it up and go to BH Larry.
BH. All right, let's go to Tiger Bryan with us next. Short and sweet here on Sports Talk. Tiger Bryan, welcome in.
Well, Tiger Bryan dropped off. He decided not to be patient, but
all right, he didn't pay the price, is what you're saying.
Can't follow Blue Hose Larry though.
Let's go to Andy. Andy in Columbia. Short and sweet here on Sports Talk. Andy, welcome in.
Hey, fellas. Corn, you hit it right on the nose. Clean the slate. Fire the bum. That'll clean the slate. Okay? 13-17 in our conference is disgusting, embarrassing, and not Gamecock baseball. Thank you very much for the short, sweet time I got. Y'all have a wonderful evening.
I didn't literally mean short and sweet. That's just sort of
I
could have gone a little bit
mic
longer.
drop conversation, though.
Yeah, it really was, yeah. Might have been. But maybe I've hit on something here with this short and sweet stuff, Planting the seed in callers' minds. 888-898-2525.
And to Andy's point, Phil, that's going to be a conversation that Ray Tanner and Mark Kingston are going to have. And Kingston better have some answers because you look at his track record since he's been at USC. He's 10 games below 500 in FCC play, and Chad Holbrook was fired after 5 years, which is a much better SEC record.
Yeah.
It's going to be a hard conversation they're going to have. And, 13-17 is just not going to cut it. I don't care what league you play in. When you have – and, again, you've got the tradition and a facility. You've got everything you need to be successful, and they just aren't, and I don't know why.
The only thing I would say to counter, and I hear what you're saying, I hear what Andy's saying, I hear what Larry's saying, others are saying, if they make the NCAA tournament, and I was not at Kingston's presser today. He had a little gaggle press conference at the bus before they hit the road because I was tied up. So I wasn't there. You were kind of monitoring it. He made it – he talked like from what I think I read he's convinced they're going to make the NCAA tournament regardless of what happens in Hoover. If they go 0-1 and come back home, he's believing they're going to be playing next week somewhere.
Well, he said there's a precedent that has been set with 13 conference wins and an RPI inside the top 20. That may be the case. And he has hearkened several times on their resume. And, again, playing good teams I don't think should be the same as beating good teams. But evidently in the RPI world it is. And, I just don't think – I don't think they can go into the NCAA tournament off a loss tomorrow. I just don't see how you take a team that's lost 7 in a row, would basically finish 13-18 in its league, and just not playing well down the stretch. That shouldn't matter too. As Jack Leggett talked about, teams that get hot are the ones that usually end up in Omaha. Well, how about the teams that aren't playing well? Do you want to see a subpar Power 5 team, which I'm sure the NCAA tournament will lean towards, or do you want to see a hot team that's in a mid-major playing well? And should they get the spot over a team like South Carolina that's not played well down the stretch, quite frankly?
All right, to Bruce in Missouri. We approach the top of the hour. So, short and sweet. Bruce, Missouri, welcome in. How are you?
Well, thank you, Phil. I appreciate you taking my call. I'm calling out Hank for his little lecture on South Carolina Bill Women's Basketball College. I want to give him some information he might not know about, but it was revealed in an interview that Don Staley will recruit a transgender girl. Now, this is Deep South stuff here. And if she's going to recruit transgender recruits, then and I think she's got one on there now,
No.
She does
no,
not.
Time out.
And that's
time
not what
out,
she
time
said.
out.
And that's not what she said.
No, let's get you corrected here. She never said that. She was asked a question at a press conference prior to the national championship game. Her opinion about transgender males playing on women's teams. And she said basically she's okay with that. She didn't say she would recruit them, and she doesn't have anybody, in that category on her team.
Well,
so she did not say she would recruit them. That is not true.
Okay, well, she's willing to play against transgender opponents?
Yes, apparently
this
she is.
This is ridiculous.
Well,
and Hank thinks that she's not going to get a transgender person on that field. Come on, she's agreeing with the transgender agenda, which I don't like. I think it's a bunch of bullcrap. Anyway, I'm just bringing Hank out, about this situation.
All right, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Tom Reginos is out as the baseball coach at Winthrop. Kendall Rogers reported that today. 14 seasons at Winthrop. Prior to that, he was an assistant coach at Clemson. 19, 29, and 1 this season. So
would they make a call to Tigerville?
Good question. How'd they end up? Did they end up being eliminated in their regional? North Greenville?
Yes, they lost two straight. Yeah,
did they?
were surprisingly not competitive, especially at home.
That's most unusual. All ACC baseball team from Clemson. On the first, now let's see, you have Aiden Canuck, who was also on the All ACC freshman team, and you have Blake Wright, and you have Cam Canarella from Clemson on the All ACC team.
Well deserved, every one of those guys.
And we have the All SEC team as well. Did you see that? That came out today.
Messina made second team. I think he may be the only one. That's the only one I saw.
Okay.
For Carolina.
Okay, I saw it came out as well. All right, we're going to hit the break here on Sports Talk, and we'll be back with more of your phone calls. And you don't have to really keep them short and sweet. Then again, that's not really a bad approach to phone calls. Short and sweet. Say what's on your mind, make your point, get it out there, and let's move on down the line. Maybe not a bad idea. I might have hit on something there. 888-898-2525. Oh, we got some recruiting information for you as well. Jim Toman coming up, bottom of the hour, just a bit outside. And we'll be back after the top of the hour break.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil and Chris with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It's hour number 2 on this Monday edition of Sports Talk from the Columbia Metropolitan Convention Center, where the induction ceremonies for the Hall of Fame class for the South Carolina Athletic Hall of Fame for 2024, 62nd Annual South Carolina Athletic Hall of Fame. That class is being inducted. We congratulate all of them. Thank those that were able to be with us live on the program tonight as well. We got more time for your calls. We've wiped the old slate clean. So you can join us, 888-898-2525. Jim Toman coming up at the bottom of the hour. We talk baseball with him as we go into tournament time, and we'll have some recruiting for you as well. Clemson today got another transfer commitment. Miles Foster, 6'7" forward, announced he's headed to Clemson, so that completes the roster for Brad Brownell with 4 transfers coming in. Yeah, as long as everybody hangs, which I think at this stage they're good to go. I think everybody's going to hang.
Yeah,
I think they're going to hang with them. So what else do we have to talk about? 888-898-2525. That is the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number for you right here on Sports Talk. We had a amazing finish to the PGA. I didn't get a chance to really get into that with Lucas Glover when he was with us because I wanted to focus on him and not the tournament. Really about his career and about him. But what a finish with the tournament yesterday was Xander Schauffele winning his first major rolling in a knee knocker that took a little trip around the cup. Not so much on the upper lip, but you could see it dance around as it went in with that winning birdie on 18. So he also sets the record as the lowest 72-hole score in men's major championship history at 21 under. So it was a great day for him. A terrific tournament. The lead changed hands, kind of like a NASCAR race. Lead changed hands a couple of times there in the final 4 or 5 holes. So a great finish to that tournament. Then, speaking of golf, we got the Clemson women in the NCAA Women's Golf Championship over the weekend. South Carolina failed to make the cut to the final 15. That's got to be a major disappointment. And one thing I don't know is, but I've tried to find out and I haven't gotten an answer, Hannah Darling, maybe you heard something on Friday, I didn't know anything. After she shot, I think it was an 84, her opening round, she didn't play the next 2 rounds. I don't know if she was injured or sick, but she didn't play, and the Gamecocks ended up not making the top 15. Of course, Clemson did, and the Tigers are wrapping up their round. They're pretty close to it. They're playing holes 14 through 17, and they're hanging in there. They're down 2 spots from where they started today. They're in 6th place. The top 8 after today advanced to match play. Clemson is 18 over par on the tournament. They're having a tough day today. Maybe the conditions are tougher. They are 16 over on their round today, 18 over on the tournament, and they are 2 shots above the cut line, which right now is plus 20 with Oregon. So they're trying to get in the house here and hang on and hope that nothing else funny happens behind them. Arkansas and Wake Forest are currently 9th. They're on the course, and they're plus 22. I don't know that they can move the needle by going any lower and changing things at as it stands now at plus 20. So Clemson trying to get in to make the match play portion. Thus far today for the Tigers, Annabelle Pancake is she is even on her round, and that's the best round for the Tigers thus far. Isabella Rawl is plus 2. So those are the 2 top rounds for the Clemson women. We'll keep a watch on that, see if they finish up before we sign off, and if indeed they make it to the top 8 and into match play. Then we had the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro yesterday, which was won by Joey Logano. But then I think what everybody's talking about is what happened in the pits afterwards. What do you think about that? Well, what did you think about, I know NASCAR has told these guys, settle your issues off the track, and they've taken that to heart. They seek each other out when something bad happens on the track. In the case of this particular situation with Ricky Stenhouse Jr., first of all, how funny was it that he parked his car in Kyle Busch's pit and got out of his car and left it there? Number one. And then number 2, of course, he's out of the race. He finishes last. He's already changed into his shorts and his T-shirt and everything. And he goes and he hunts down Busch as Busch is walking to his hauler after the race and engages him in a heated conversation. And then he punches him. And he punches him. I mean, I don't think it was a sucker punch because he never turned away like he was walking away, then turned around and hit him. He was facing him the whole time, but it was totally unexpected. And I don't know if he actually hit him. Looked like he might have hit Busch's arm that went up to block it. He had a bottle of water in that hand, but still. And then it quickly was broken up by crew members. But that's what NASCAR wants. They got it in the All-Star race yesterday.
That's what they had to have because the race was terrible. Joey Logano led but all but 1 lap. And this is why I don't watch. And my sort of approach to all-star events in any sport is not to watch them because they all are like this. They're just unwatchable, and the NASCAR all-star race is no different. But, they needed the fight just to have something to keep people talking about into this week and looking forward to the 600. But, and this goes back to when Stenhouse wrecked Busch at Daytona. So, and those two don't get along. Well, Kyle Busch, I don't think, gets along with many people. So, but that's as good a fisticuffs, if you will, as we've seen in NASCAR in a while.
Yeah, that had some heat to it. That had some anger to it. I mean, I really think he was swinging to inflict harm. I just don't think he was swinging just to swing. I think he was really taking a swing there, hoping to connect and do some damage. So, well, we'll see what happens with that moving forward. Josh, who apparently found some on the air Friday night, found himself some glory on the air on Sports Talk in my absence. Now wants to tell us about Scotty Scheffler because he has discovered some new information about that situation at Valhalla.
Well, if you were not on your phone or you were not listening to the radio on Friday morning at all, Scotty Scheffler, the winner of the Masters this year, was detained and arrested Friday morning. He apparently drove across a barricade, and the tragic part about this story is that a 69-year-old man died that morning. Scotty, he drove around a barricade. Officer somehow attached himself to his vehicle, a marked PGA Tour car. He was arrested and made it to his tee time. And now the round 2 of the Valhalla was delayed Friday morning because of the deadly crash outside. And what I've found is there's not a lot of info coming out from the police department. But what I have found is that there was no body cam on for that scene, so we won't see any footage from that. I have seen footage from the guy covering it on ESPN of him getting arrested and walking to the car. But yeah, I just want to mention, there's a lot of different things going on with that, and his arraignment date, his court date is moving from tomorrow to June 3rd. So we'll see what goes on after that.
Yeah, his side of the story, his people put out that this was unintentional, that he was given directions by 2 different cops. He was following directions of one cop, over another cop. It sounds to me like the Louisville police feel like they've got reason to charge him here and to move forward with this in the court system at this particular time.
Yeah, he was charged with second-degree assault of a police officer, third-degree criminal mischief, and reckless driving, and disregarding signals from an officer directing traffic. So yeah, he made it, and he tied 8th at 13 under. So he did pretty good.
He had a really good round on Friday, 66.
I think it may have been one of the most remarkable golf rounds in history, Phil, considering what he dealt with that morning, and he got about a 45-minute warm-up to get ready, and for him to go out and shoot a 66 under those conditions, I thought was amazing.
Well, I read some of his comments after the round where he said while he was in a jail cell waiting to be bailed out, he was doing his exercises. He was limbering up. He was doing his stretches.
He was
getting
his
ready.
Normal routine ahead of the second round, and he said he was stretching. He said he was proud of how he fought and all that.
Yeah. Did we give Josh a talk anytime you want to card while I was while I was guard? All of a sudden here, I think he feels like he's the third wheel in this thing here. I don't know about all that. Okay, thank you, Josh, for all that.
I will say this about the PGA. I'm not a fan of major championships being decided by 2 guys who shot 20 under par. But if you watched the golf yesterday, that was as scintillating golf as you could possibly imagine. The way DeChambeau and Hamlin played together, and then Schauffele just holding both of them off, I thought it was great theater. But Valhalla's got to figure out a way to make that golf course hard. I mean, you've got guys shooting 62, 65, 21 under par. That's like the John Deere Classic. That's not the PGA Championship.
Yeah, you're right. But then again, there was some great shot making down the stretch. There was some great shot making down the stretch. The shot that Schauffele hit on 18, his approach, where he's standing in the bunker, and he's got a long iron, and he hits it with 2 while standing in the bunker, but the ball's in the fairway. But he's got a long iron, and he hits it. He leaves it short of the green, but he's in the fairway, chips it up to about 6 feet, and rolls it in.
Yeah,
I mean, that's good shot making under pressure. I mean, the crowd looked like they had a huge gallery there following him and surrounding the 18th green. So I hear what you're saying. Me too. My Me Too movement is to have higher golf scores in majors, around par. I enjoy a U.S. Open that penalizes them so much that, the winner's going to be 1 or 2 over par. I got no problem watching these guys get beat up. I really got no problem with that. I should have asked Lucas that. I should have said, Lucas, how do you feel about the fact that people like me like it when people like you are over par? In a big tournament, in an open or a major championship.
I can promise you they will not be 21 under par at Pinehurst in the U.S. Open.
Not with those greens and everything else. Okay, we're going to run to a break, and we'll be back, and we will continue with your phone calls. We got recruiting coming up. We'll give you that as well. Jim Toman at the bottom of the hour. We'll talk more of the baseball situation as we look ahead to the tournaments. I'll be in Hoover tomorrow night. The Gamecocks play at around 2 o'clock Eastern time. We'll have that covered for you. Smitty, Matt Smith, will be in Charlotte with Clemson, unless, of course, Josh decides to supplant Smitty and hit the road and take that job as well. Maybe we'll do that. Be right back.
Calling all turkey hunters, this is Major Billy Downer with the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources. Turkey season is coming soon. The most common accident while turkey hunting is failing to identify your target. Know the identifying features of a turkey. Make sure of your target and what lies beyond it before you pull the trigger. Remember, safe hunting is no accident. For more information on hunter education, visit dnr.sc.gov.
Last throw, big guy.
Come on, baby. I need me a giant bear.
I got this. I am the target. Ben, throw.
Oh, well, look who won a giant bear.
That's a grizzly.
Oh, Mama's baby bear.
When you join the South Carolina Education Lottery's Players Club, you get way more than you expect. More chances, more wins, and more surprises.
Yeah, he's had all his shots. Just don't look him in the eye.
Join the Players Club at seeducationlottery.com because more happens here.
You're listening to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. We're back in a moment.
George Bryan for Tsunami Bar Sports, our inventor, David Abernathy, has always said Tsunami Bar technology allows us to take the training to the grass. Now I know through my sport of golf that natural agility can be converted to athletic ability. And why is this, Tsunami Robbie?
Transferring the training to the grass. This may be the most undervalued characteristic of the Tsunami flexible bar technology. The Tsunami bar action loads and unloads at the concentric and eccentric transition points. This is what we call reversal forces, and the Tsunami bar is the only bar and training device that I know of that can train these reversal forces adequately at speed.
Hey, this is Phil Kornbluth. The Tsunami Bar is a terrific training device, whether you're working on your fitness or your golf game. It's convenient, it's easy to use, and you won't feel beat up afterwards. Be sure to click on the digital ad on sportstalksc.com and get 5% off any order using promo code BBB5. Don't wait. Order today. All right, we're back on Sports Talk from the Columbia Metropolitan Convention Center here for the South Carolina Athletic Hall of Fame. I can promise you the three people on this show right now, yours truly, Chris Bergen, Josh Cohen, will never be inducted into the South Carolina Athletic Hall of Fame.
Boy, that's
under
for sure.
any circumstances.
Unless they really lower the bar.
Now, what I'd like to do one day is buy a table for the company so we can sit in there. The ceremony itself, and we say this every year, the ceremony is fantastic. It really is. It's first class. They have an orchestra. Food is great. You got about 900 people in there, maybe more. They try to limit the speeches to about 4 minutes so it moves. Willie Jeffries is there to referee. If you go over 4 minutes, he does throw a yellow flag up in the air. He lets you know.
That's funny.
So they do a great job. They really do a great job. What they need, of course, is a building to honor the portraits of these people. You know, there should be a building that has a portrait of every one of the members of the Athletic Hall of Fame and other things related to South Carolina sports history. All right, let's go to Camden, and Keith is next with us here on Sports Talk. And Keith, welcome in. How are you?
I'm doing great, Phil, Chris. Hope y'all are too.
Yes, sir. Doing great.
Yeah, good. Well, we had this conversation about 7 days ago, and I'm surprised Andy hadn't called in. I think it's Andy, right?
Well, he called in earlier.
Oh, well, I just joined. Did he throw
Yeah.
a fit?
Well, he was
Yes.
short and sweet. He was short and sweet. He got right to the point, just like Gamecock Larry did.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be the third one. You know what I mean? Writing's on the wall. Like I said before, it may not be the baseball coach. It may be our dear friend Ray Tanner. But it's a sad state. It really is. But maybe they can go win a game in the SEC tournament.
Well, if they make a regional, would you be satisfied that this was another successful year by making a regional? I mean, that's kind of what the ultimate goal. Not the ultimate goal, but it's sort of like one of your goals of a season is to make the regional. Then, if you happen to move on, so be it. But shouldn't you be given some credit for getting to a regional, considering only 64 teams out of 360-something make the tournament?
Yeah, Phil, I think you give credit, but you know what? I don't think we're going to make it.
You don't think they're going to make it?
No, I don't. I really don't. We'll
our poll question of the week, I'm glad you mentioned that. Our poll question of the week is just that. Is South Carolina going to make the tournament? And 263 votes in today. 53.6% say they will. 46.4% say they won't.
Well, it just depends. If they get in, do they exit early? Lose 2 and go home. So
a lot of that depends on your regional draw. A lot of that depends on where you go and who you play. D1 baseball has got the Gamecocks in Clemson in their latest projection today.
Who's the 4 seed?
Gamecocks are the 3rd seed. Do you remember off the top of your head, Bergie?
I think Louisiana's the 2. And quite frankly, that's not going to be a good matchup for the Gamecocks in the opening round. Louisiana's really good. And I can't remember who the 4 seed is.
Yeah. Well, based on hitting and pitching the last 2 weeks, I don't know that it matters who we play. But, we'll see. Enjoy y'all's show. Y'all do a great job. Have a good
All right. Thank you very much. Before
something
we
to consider, too,
Huh?
with regards to past history, and again, you started drawing the parallels between what Chad Holbrook did replacing Ray Tanner and now what Mark Kingston has done. Chad Holbrook, his last year at Carolina, was 13-17 in the SEC as well, went 35-25, did not make the NCAA tournament that year and was ousted. So, I mean, is the writing on the wall, as Keith said, if the Gamecocks don't get into the tournament? I mean, it would be basically the identical season that Holbrook left USC on.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You were right about Cole Messina, second team All-SEC, the only Gamecock. Kind of thought Petrie might get some consideration. What I don't understand with the ACC, I got to go see who is their first team All-ACC third baseman, because Clemson's third baseman, Wright, was a second team All-ACC selection. And his numbers, of course, are off the chart.
Yep.
Blake Wright, he's only hitting .341 with 21 homers, 70 RBIs, .677 slugging percentage in 53 games. Boy, I tell you what, I can look it up here. The All-ACC team, the first team third baseman would be Ben Miller of Duke.
Okay.
I haven't seen his numbers, but I guess he's
exactly.
Now, why do they list they're listing Wright as a second baseman. He's third baseman, isn't he? Isn't Blake Wright third baseman?
I thought he was.
Yeah. Let me double check here. I'm pretty sure he's a third baseman.
Because they have the Duke third baseman as well, don't they?
Yeah. Clemson started. He's the third baseman. So,
yeah.
And think about this Clemson team. Of course, they're playing without Shufo. Was it Anthony Shufo? Their outstanding shortstop. And they're playing without Will Taylor, outfielder. So, I mean, they're not a whole team. There's 2 starters, and they played a lot of the season without their starting catcher. But that kind of opened the door for Obertop to step up, and he's had a great year. He's had, 18, 19 home runs? He's had a great year.
Terrific for them.
Behind the plate, yeah. So, anyway, thought that was kind of interesting when I took a look at that. Phone number 888-898-2525. Let's go ahead and give you the recruiting report tonight. It is brought to you by Seawells. If there was a Hall of Fame for catering, Seawells would be a first ballot selection. No doubt about it. 80 years in the business, and they're still going strong, and they're still doing it like nobody else. You give them a call at 803-771-7385 or online at SeawellsCateringSC.com. Back in action tomorrow with the daily luncheon buffet from 11 till 2. Make sure you get over for that sometime this week. You will not be disappointed. Anybody got the menu for Tuesday out in front of them? Want to tell us what we got?
No, they usually don't release it until tomorrow. So we don't have it yet.
Surprise yourself.
Okay. Didn't realize they kept it under lock and key. Figured they might want to put that out there for people to have a chance to. Kind of like the Coca-Cola recipe, I guess. Or the Kentucky. What's more secretive, the recipe for Coca-Cola or the recipe for Kentucky Fried Chicken?
Are we talking about original Coke or new Coke? I think if they did new Coke, anybody could have that. It was so bad. But I would say
we're talking the original formula
recipe,
for both, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I would say the original recipe for Coke, probably a little more secretive.
All right, to recruiting here very quickly. Short and sweet. Mentioned that Clemson got a transfer basketball, 6'7" Miles Foster from Illinois State. He's the fourth transfer taken by Brad Brownell since the end of the season. Gives the Tigers 7 newcomers for next season. He spent his first 3 seasons at Monmouth playing for King Rice. And before joining Illinois State last season, he played in 32 games for the Redbirds, starting 31. He averaged 12 points and 8 rebounds per game. Former USC center Josh Gray is transferring to Missouri. Well, that'll make Bruce happy. He can go watch a former Gamecock play in person. Football, USC running backs coach Marquell Blackwell was back in his hometown of St. Petersburg, Florida last week, and he popped a pair of offers to 2 of the top prospects in the area at Calvary Christian School. Athlete Jershawn Newton, who plays quarterback, and running back Sean Quono, who's 5'11", 195. We talked to Quono, who was happy about the offer, said they came in the morning and talked to him and talked to his quarterback as well, and he told them they were going to be getting an offer and they want them to come up there for a visit. So he said South Carolina is definitely high on his list right now because they are in the SEC. Quono has rushed for 2,810 yards and 28 touchdowns over the last 2 seasons. And he's planning to visit South Carolina the 4th weekend in June after visits to Minnesota, Indiana, and South Florida. Give you more recruiting in a moment. Coach Jim Tillman coming up in just a moment. Had a few more recruiting notes to touch on before we get to the coach. So I want to do that before we do that. And to wrap things up, Hammond tight end Mike Tyler was offered by LSU. Defensive end Kabi Saki-Pra of Roswell, Georgia, has scheduled his official to USC now for June 7th. He had told us he'd be taking one. Hale McGranahan confirmed that the date is June 7th. Hale with the big spur. Saki-Pra also has visits set with Indiana May 31st, Georgia Tech June 14th, and Mississippi State June 21st. And USC target linebacker Zayden Walker made another visit to Georgia over the weekend, has an official visit with the Gamecocks set for late June. Of course, David Sanders also there over the weekend. Also, of course, another Georgia football player was arrested over the weekend for
Georgia way, baby.
Well, this doesn't appear to be too serious. This wasn't drunken driving. All he did was go the wrong way down a one-way street.
How do you do that, though?
So he pulled a Scotty?
No, I mean, he
just
didn't
don't
drag.
understand how you possibly can do that. Drive down a one-way street the wrong way. But again, it's a pattern in Georgia.
Have you ever driven in downtown Charleston? I mean,
Yeah. No, I agree, but I'm guessing Athens is not as complicated as Charleston is.
No, there's a couple of areas there on Broad Street where you got the one way. If you're not careful, you could. But yeah, this was not a particularly serious violation, but it just goes on top of all the other more serious violations there. All right, there you go with the recruiting report brought to you by Seawells. Time for Coach Jim Tillman.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
We go to tournament play. This man used to shine during tournament play when he was at South Carolina and Liberty in particular. And now he gets to talk about it with us here on Sports Talk. We welcome in Coach Jim Toman, just a bit outside. All right. We had Jack Leggett on tonight. It was funny because Jack's going into the South Carolina Athletic Hall of Fame tonight, Coach. And as he was getting on the air with us, who comes walking in the convention center but Ray Tanner? So to me, knowing these two gents and the rivalry, that was just, I mean, I couldn't have planned the timing any better than to have Ray come walking in as Jack was going on the air. Ray came by and put his hands on his shoulders and shook Jack and shook his hand. But anyway, I bring that up to talk about getting into postseason play, and Coach Leggett said you get hot in postseason play, and who knows who ends up getting to Omaha. You just got to get hot at the right time.
Wow, that's two big ones in one room, Jack Leggett and Ray Tanner, two of the very best, and they're from our state. That's tremendous. But they had a good relationship. At times it got a little fiery, probably because of me half the time. You know, because Coach Leggett, you know, every now and then he'd call Coach Tanner and say, Coach Tillman, recruiting this guy, and he said this, and he said that. And I just killed him with kindness, Bill. I tried to be as nice as I could be. But we wanted to get all them in-state recruits, so I had to lay it on pretty good. But here's a little tidbit for Storm Tillman. What was Jim Tillman's record versus Jack Leggett? In Jack Leggett, his career, Jack Leggett is a Hall of Fame coach, and I got a chance to play against him as a head coach at Liberty for 3 different games, and I ended up going 3-0 versus Jack Leggett. That's one of my very few claims to fame that I have as a coach, that I went 3-0 against Jack Leggett. How about that?
How
when I
about
was
that?
at Liberty University.
How about
Liberty
that?
University beat us twice in the South Carolina Regional and once at home at Clemson. Of course, Jack won about 9 million games, way more than me. But that guy deserves every bit of every Hall of Fame he gets into. I really, being a rival of his, that still is very, very. It's just an awesome coach, and you know, he's one of the best. There's no doubt about it. So everything that Jack gets is well deserved.
Absolutely.
But,
let me ask you about this before you get into Toman tidbits and all that. You got a Clemson team that bounced back from being swept at Wake to sweep Boston College, though they were left for dead in that first game on Friday night or Thursday night, whatever night it was. They're left for dead, but in Clemson fashion, they came back to win. Two things. I'm going to talk Clemson and Gamecocks. Clemson, still wonder about their pitching going into postseason play. Will it be good enough to carry them a long way? Gamecocks, they've lost 6 in a row. Their pitching has been in shambles. Their hitting, their timely hitting remains a mystery for the most part. Their defense has been a little shaky here of late, and they'll play Alabama in the SEC play-in round tomorrow afternoon. Can they find themselves again and put some wins together in Hoover? So start with Clemson, then talk about the Gamecocks.
Okay, Clemson may be the only school in the state with a lock for an NCAA bid right now, and I think it's going to be a national seed. And for the listeners, if you get to be a top 8 national seed, all that means is that you're hosting for the regional, and if you win the regional, you will also get to host in the super regional. So you want to get in that top 8, and Clemson's RPI is number 7. They were the number 2 seed in the ACC tournament. You know, their RPI is so good. They're 40 wins. They're 20-10 in the league. I would say that Clemson is a top 8 national seed, and if they win the regional, they'll host again at Tiger Field. They play that weird pool play format in the ACC tournament. They're in 3 different pools. Clemson is in with Miami,
and Louisville. They won't play until Thursday. But you play single elimination after that. If you win your pool, you go to a single elimination tournament with 4 teams, and then you come up with an ACC winner magically. But it's at Truist Field in Charlotte, North Carolina, for all of you ACC fans.
Do you like that format? Do you like that format?
I kind of like what the SEC does, and the SEC matches up more with what happens in NCAA regional and super regional play and College World Series play. So why not do it like the NCAA regionals and the super regionals and Omaha, so you get used to that type of tournament? I don't know why ACC does it. Maybe RPI purposes, or to try to get more people in from the ACC into the regionals. Not sure. I don't know what stats are on that, but I'd rather have it like the SEC and play a double elimination tournament. But the one thing about Clemson, you talked about their pitching. I had heard through the rumor mill that freshman Aiden Knock is going to probably move to be their Saturday starter, and they're going to, in the regional, they're going to probably pitch him maybe the second game, but he seems to be maybe their best guy as a freshman, and they're moving him up a little bit from what I understand. So, but Clemson right now for me is a national seed. They got it done, and but I just feel like right now they might be the only school right now that is an actual lock. Now there's several teams that are on the bubble, including the Gamecocks. Absolutely, worried a little bit. Lost their last 6. Their RPI is down to 19, which is it's still very good. But the committee does look at how you finish, and right now, would be 2-8 or something in our last 10. We are the 10th seed. Now, that sounds pretty bad, but technically we were tied for 7th with like 5 teams. And I've never seen that happen before in the SEC. I just know them 5 teams are all 13 and 17. It used to be when I coached, you had to go 500 or better to think you were getting in a regional. And then a couple years later, it was 14 and 16. And then all of a sudden, the team got in at 13 and 17 because they had a good RPI. So now the magic number they say is like 13. Well, all 5 of them 13 and 17 teams can't get in. In my opinion, that would mean 11 SEC teams got in. I can see 9 or 10 maybe, but I don't think 11 are getting in. So this SEC tournament, them schools that are 13 and 17 better win. Now, South Carolina has a great RPI, but, the other teams with 13 and 17 RPIs, 13 and 17 records, I mean, you're looking at RPIs of 18, Alabama, and 24, and 27, and 30, with teams like LSU and Florida. So there's still, them 5 teams have really good RPIs. But it would be very difficult for me to see 11 teams get in. But it depends on how the tournaments go nationally, and if there's a bunch of upsets, and if there's room. But I can't imagine that 5 teams that were 13 and 17 going in the SEC tournament are all going to get a regional. I don't see it happening.
This Alabama game might just be for an NCAA tournament spot because the loser's going to go home. Alabama's got an RPI of 18. The Gamecocks have an RPI of 19, and the committee might say, okay, whoever wins that game is going to get one of those spots.
Not just this game, but the other 3 teams that are 13 and 17, how are they going to do? I learned today that Alabama is going to throw their big lefty, who's a senior, Greg Barone, 6'6", 240. When he pitched against South Carolina March 30th, he was 5 in the 3rd inning, 3 runs, 5 hits, 1 walk, and 4 Ks. And that was the 3rd game in the series that South Carolina won 9-8. But that guy was not involved in the decision, so he pitched pretty good for 5 in the 3rd innings against us, against South Carolina March 30th. So he's been probably their most reliable guy. I feel like he's probably their number one guy, even though he's pitched on Saturdays and Sundays as well. But he is pitching, and, it's the SEC tournament. Sometimes you go in there and only throw 3-4 innings with a good guy, but that's if you're locked for a regional. So, you gotta keep your good guys out there, and this game has to be won. Once you win a single elimination game, you get to go into double elimination. You get to go in the regular tournament. So tomorrow's game is absolutely huge. The SEC tournament is going to be really good when you got 5 teams really, really worried about whether they're getting in or not at this point. Tennessee, Kentucky, Arkansas, A&M, Mississippi State, Georgia are the top 6. They're already going to be in the regionals. These other teams, most of them will be in, but I don't see it being all 5 of them 13 and 17 teams. So, basically, the tournament, once again, down at the Hoover Met down in Birmingham, man, they put on a great show down there. It's a fun deal. Hopefully, South Carolina can make a good run down there. Ole Miss is the last team in at 12. They're 11 and 19, and Missouri was 9 and 21, and Auburn was 8 and 22. So their season's over at Missouri and Auburn. They're not even in the SEC tournament. Okay, on to Coastal, we've got Coach Gilmore with being a sentimental favorite for me to get an NCAA bid, but he has some work to do. Now, his RPI is still good at 35. They're 33 and 21. They're 16 and 14. They won their last couple in the Sun Belt. But they're a 7 seed. They play 10 seed Georgia State in Montgomery, Alabama. And I think that Coach will probably need to get to the finals to get a bid, or maybe at least win a couple of games. And if I was on that committee, boy, I would be pulling for Coach Gilmore to get back in a regional in his last year of a Hall of Fame career. College of Charleston, great year by Coach Holbrook. But here's the problem. The problem is not everyone, there's only 64 teams. There's only so many at-large picks. They won the conference, but I guess it's the Coastal Athletic Conference now, the CAA. They won the regular season over UNC Wilmington. They were 21 and 5. They've had a great year. They're 39 and 12. They won 25 of their last 28 games. And we shouldn't even be having this discussion when you've won 25 out of 28. They're 9 and 1 in their last 10. They're on a 5-game win streak. 21 and 5 in their conference. But the problem is, if they're looking at the RPI, it's 50. And that goes back to the non-conference schedule, which is 206, which wasn't good. However, personally, having been in similar positions when I was at Liberty and not getting in and winning 40 games, I would definitely put them in the field. But, I think they need to win a few games and, make sure that they don't get left out, because it would be a shame for them to get left out when, they won the CAA regular season and they've won 25 out of 28. Their RPI is 50. All 5 of them SEC teams that are 13 and 17 have a better RPI. 18, 19, 24, 27, and 30. And then College of Charleston's a 50 RPI. So if that committee, they kind of use that RPI when they need it to get you in, and then when they need it to get you out. So you never quite know who's on that committee and how they're going to take that. But for me, I'm taking College of Charleston for sure with the great year that they had and winning the regular season in the CAA. Big shout-out to Coach Pollock over there at Presbyterian. They won the Big South the regular season, and he's a great coach, and they're the number 1 seed for the Big South tournament. They only have a 4-team tournament. It's kind of crazy, but it's Presbyterian. High Point is the 2 seed, and then a couple South Carolina squads. USC Upstate is the 3rd seed, and Charleston Southern is the 4th seed. But nice job by Coach Pollock to win the regular season in that league. Wofford is 5 seed. The RPI is pretty good, 57, but they'd have to win that tournament. They're in the Southern Conference. They play the Citadel, who's the 8th seed. They play against each other tomorrow in Greenville. It's a single elimination deal tomorrow for them. So, Moorfield and Greenville, if you're a Citadel or Wofford fan, two South Carolina squads going at it. The last team in the league, Winthrop, ended their season 19 and 29, and their season's over. They didn't make the tournament. There was some breaking news earlier. I don't know if you guys heard it or not, but Kendall Rogers says that Tom Reginas was let go today by Winthrop.
Yes.
And, yeah, I didn't know if you guys said that or not. Sometimes I can get you guys on the radio. Sometimes I can't find it too good. But 14 seasons at Winthrop. Tom's a great guy. He'll rally, and hopefully he'll get another job soon. But so there's one season of our 10 teams in South Carolina. There's one season that's already over. If there's one lock, and that's Clemson, South Carolina Coastal, College of Charleston on the bubble. Some are bubble in, some are bubble out. Depends on what happens in the tournament. Obviously, if the other teams can win the tourney, you go automatically to the regionals. So it's a big week in South Carolina.
Gotta ask you a quick question before we lose you here. Got about 3 more minutes.
Yeah.
So the SEC. Go ahead, Chris. You asked the question. You've read the story about what they're doing at first base.
Yeah, Coach, the SEC is going to experiment this week with the double first base, almost like they have in Little League, where there's one bag that's literally in foul territory, the other bag that's in fair territory, and the rule is basically a safety situation where they try to avoid some collisions at first base. Have you ever dealt with that in your collegiate career, and if so, did you like it, and if not, do you like it?
Well, in the big leagues, they've made the bases bigger. Now, if they were going to do something like that, they should have done it at the beginning of the season. They shouldn't do it in the SEC tournament where they have and they're not used to it.
Yeah.
Number one. I don't know why in a tournament as important to all these teams in the SEC, why would you change the rules and the bags? I mean, they might be chipping over the bag. Who knows what's going to happen?
And let me ask a question. Let me ask a question.
Yeah.
So you're the base runner, you're the batter, and you hit a ball, and it's a bang-bang play at first. Like, are you supposed to veer away and go to the bag on the outside? Or are you supposed to go to the regular bag?
That's supposed to be your direct path to it anyway, evidently, because they don't want you inside the line.
Well, here's my other question then. My follow-up is, how much more difficult is it for the first base umpire to have his attention split? He's got to now watch the first baseman catching the ball with his foot on one bag and the runner trying to get his foot down on another bag. Does that make it tougher on the umpire?
That's crazy. It's the first I've heard of it. I get it if you do it throughout the whole year, but throwing that at him right now in the SEC tournament, it could affect the game. It probably won't. But I get the danger part of it and all that, safety part of it. But now isn't the time to be changing the rules when they've played all year with other bases. Okay, it's just like the big leagues. In minor leagues, they got bigger bases now, and you can't in minor leagues. You can't have the shift on, and the bases are bigger, and then you got the pitch clock, and it's easier to steal bases, and the bases are closer to you because they're a little bit bigger, and the pitchers can pick only a couple times, and they're brushed. So, yeah, them rules, it take a while to get used to. And we're in the second year of that, in Major League Baseball. But to throw them bases out there right now, I think that's pretty ridiculous. And I would think the other coaches think the same. And they probably didn't ask the coaches. But I do have one more shout-out.
Okay.
That time, the shout-out to Maryland Eastern Shore. They got it done. They had the imperfect 0-48 season.
Wow.
But how about this? They did not even finish. This is why the RPI probably isn't very accurate. They went 0-48, and they weren't the worst team in the RPI. Arkansas Pine Bluff went 9-34, and they ended up in the regular season 304. And Arkansas Pine Bluff ended up 305. So shout out
ridiculous.
to Maryland Eastern Shore.
It's ridiculous.
forget the defeated season done, but they couldn't quite get the last 305. They couldn't get the last RPI position. So
That's hilarious.
God bless them, and hopefully next year they'll win again.
Coach, as always, we've enjoyed it. We're looking forward to the run through the postseason with you. So have yourself a great week watching all this baseball. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Coach.
Oh, it's going to be fun. You guys
Hey, listen,
have a great
and
night.
also, listen, don't go out and get hired for a coaching job now and cause us to lose this segment here in the postseason. We can't have
I
that.
could probably still do it because I'm not getting any payment out of it. I think I can keep doing it, but I sent 3 resumes in today. 3 jobs opened up today, and I figured out how to send my resume through my phone. About that for technology.
You're batting 1,000. You're 3 for 3.
Yet, but I'm waiting here by the phone to see if they got my resume.
All right. Well, good luck, and we thank you as always.
All right, guys. Have fun.
Take care. All right.
Phil, if you need
Coach
further
Jim
proof how ridiculous the RPI is, there's example A.
Yeah.
The team that did not win a game does not have the worst RPI in the country.
Yeah.
Explain that. How is that even possible?
I guess, they're getting credited for playing a tougher. What was their strength of schedule?
It doesn't matter. They went 0 and what do you say? 0-49?
Yeah.
That should be literally, that's the worst team in the country, bar none.
My goodness. All right, quick check-in on the Clemson women. They're playing their last 2 holes. They're at 15 over on the day. That's the worst of the teams in the top 8. That's the bad news for them. The good news for them, they're in the top 8. They're at number 5 right now with 2 holes to go for them. They're at plus 17. They're 4 shots clear of the cut, which is Auburn, at plus 21. And Auburn is playing the last 2 holes, as are Oregon and UCLA, who are plus 19. Wake Forest is at number 9 and is in at plus 22. So it does appear that nobody is going to jump in to that top 8 from the teams below the cut line. Arkansas and Northwestern are playing holes 17 and 18. They're 10th and 11th, and they're plus 25 and plus 30, respectively. So they're not going to make it. So what I'm saying is it does look like, unless they totally collapse here, and I can't see them doing it, looks like Clemson's going to make the cut to the match play and be in the top 8. How about that?
Well, Kelly Hester told us Friday her team was looking forward to the opportunity, to play in match play. Felt like they'd be pretty solid in that event.
All right. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.